I got next to a stage, he read, what did he read? Epic poetry earlier. So we got a poet, Venato.
Howdy, everybody. So I've been composing a poem called The Life of Robin Hood, and I wanted to read the latest chapter in this one, which is chapter 3, Robin at Nottingham Fair. This is early in the book, so he's still young. The book's going to go through his whole life, from youth to adulthood to his death. So when we last left our hero, young Robin was on the way to Nottingham Fair. During his journey, he challenged the outlaw Will Cloudsley at archery to freely pass through Sherwood Forest, and lost. Then he and his mother and servant were rescued by a band of the sheriff's foresters. We pick up the story as they escort Robin and his group to the home of his uncle, Squire Gamewell, en route to the fair. Chapter 3, Robin at Nottingham Fair. So Robin safely came to Gamewell's manor with his mother, and took a restful slumber in the mansion of her brother. When morning broke, his uncle George of Gamewell shook his hand, and spoke of his amazement that the lad was grown so grand. He took the three to Nottingham, and when the fairgrounds neared, the boy was overcome with all the wonders that appeared. His steps were most attracted to a troop of wrestling boys. This merry group of strugglers filled the air with sweat and noise. They were a father and 3 sons. The old man blew a horn, whereat his sons enticed competitors with playful scorn. "Come one, come all," the father cried, From Cumberland we hail, where wrestling is the passion and the pride of every male." "Now let me wrestle for the trophy," Robin begged the squire. "With this I'll build my fortune up in honor of my sire." "A prize of 20 pennies," laughed the squire, "is little gain. Besides, to mix thy Norman sweat with theirs would be a stain. Recall that thou art sprung from Gamewell on thy mother's side. Allow our friends to overthrow this Cumberlander's pride. Behold, a challenger from Nottingham arrives but now." A swarthy fellow came just then, with gristle on his brow. He asked if he might try to match their strength and win the purse. "'Tis thine," the old man said, "if thou art strong, and if thou durst." The ring was cleared, and soon a crowd of watchers gathered round, to see the striplings jostle one another to the ground. The wrestlers stripped their shirts off, and they eyed each other's faces. Then entering the battleground, the rivals took their places. The boy from Nottingham was somewhat thick, but strong of limb. His counterpart from Cumberland was supple, small, and slim. Then suddenly they darted forth and clutched each other's sides, and turned and swayed unsteady as the watchers madly cried. The boys from Cumberland and Nottingham were matched in strength. They knew by tricks or feints alone they'd win the game at length. The smaller tried a simple ruse, but nearly took a fall. "Thou must attempt a better trick than that," a watcher called. Then Robin recognized the voice and whirled around his head, in time to catch Will Cloudsley's eyes before the robber fled. Aware of Robin's gaze, the thief decided not to stay. He nodded boldly to the lad and swiftly slipped away. "Hold fast there, Nottingham," he cried before he disappeared, and still each wrestler strained his nerves to overthrow his peer. Great beads of sweat arising from each brow began to flow. They dared not use a common trick against no common foe. Then suddenly the lad from Cumberland appeared to slip, and instantly his rival used this chance to change his grip. But then the trap was sprung. It was a ruse, the end was nigh. The foreign lad leaned in upon his foe and grasped his thigh. The local boy was off his balance, well above his peer. The Cumberlander thrust him back and down upon his rear. To Cumberland, the crowd of watchers cried. And so the strangers kept their coins, and won some bets beside. "Well, Robin," Gamewell said, "let us attend thy mother now. We dawdle while she waits for us with lines upon her brow." But then the little victor called to Robin, "Come back soon. If thou art not afraid, I'm here till Saturday at noon." So said the little rogue, and Gamewell smiled to hear him chide. He loved to hear such youthful voices ring with zeal and pride. And while they walked away, they passed the victor's rueful foe. Then Gamewell said to Robin, "If thou wouldst allay his woe, then take to him this purse to be a consolation gift." So Robin gave it quietly to help his spirits lift. Returning then, he asked the squire a question, and began, A day ago, when we were in the woods, that robber man was quick to flee the foresters, but now he's at the fair, and no one tries to catch him. Why do not the pikemen care? Then thou hast seen Will Cloudsley hereabout, came his reply. Most surely, answered Robin, at the match he met my eye. We'll nab him if thou shalt but point him out, replied the man. But in those crowds aplenty, Robin's eyeballs vainly scanned. He sighted Eleanor, however, waiting for their coming. But there they had to shout to speak, so loud the crowd was humming. The din of booths and music filled the air, till Robin cried, See, mother, here's a wizard's kiosk, go with us inside. Above their heads there loomed a high and gloomy yellow stall. Its eaves were decked with runes, and painted snakes adorned the walls. Beside it stood a tall and bearded sage with robes of red. He leaned upon a star-capped wand, a hat upon his head. If thou wouldst have thy stars construed, come forth, he gravely spoke. Aye, surely, clamored Robin, midst the mirrors and the smoke. Come, master, come thou, mother, too, naively begged the youth. The squire replied, And dost thou think that thou shalt hear the truth? Well, have thy way. Come, Eleanor, these tricksters can amuse. But hearken, boy, believe thou not the mummery he'll use. They entered in his kiosk, where he let a curtain fall. The gloom increased to escalate the aura of his stall. The wizard struck a gong, whereat a lamp began to glow. Its shifting bluish light allowed the furnishings to show. They saw a globe upon a table draped with cloth of black. A bench was strewn with parchments, by its side there lay a sack. The skeleton of a misshapen ape was near the curtain. Behind it sat some shelves with flasks whose purpose was uncertain. The wizard's wand was sparkling as the dancing light was shed. Approach me, Robin Locksley, son of Hugh, the wizard said. Now place thy hand upon this globe, and gaze upon the table. To Robin, all this mystery was like a living fable. The wizard peeled the tablecloth, revealing flat green glass. What dost thou see? He said. And Robin answered him, The grass. Beneath it lies the ground we tread, and nothing else beside. Look harder, Robin Locksley, said the wizard in reply. So Robin strained, and lo, the green began to disappear. The glass no more revealed the floor, but mist and clouds appeared. And then he dimly saw a little picture of a glade, on which the noble trees of Sherwood Forest bent their shade. A summer wind was blowing, and the grasses swayed and shook. And then a man in Lincoln green came striding as he looked. The man was slim and bearded, not much tall, and bronze of skin. He seemed to be a forester, and bore a bow with him. He wore no badge to mark his lord. His strides were long and free. And Robin thought he knew his face, which whirled expectantly. A bush let out a call, which Robin heard as far away. The man went slowly toward the bush, whence came the sound of play. 2 arms arose, and then a merry face, till quick as light, a page arose with hair of black and eyes that shimmered bright. The bowman spread his arms to hold the lad, and Robin knew the page was not a lad. Her joyous laughter ran him through, for she had played a prank upon her lover whom she clutched, and Robin's heart imagined that this scene involved him much. But then a cold cloud passed above the glade and hid the sun, and Robin felt his blood begin more frigidly to run. The wizard murmured softly, Art thine eyelids opened, lad? And Robin would have answered, if more strength of tongue he had. Instead, he focused on the cloud, which now began to pass. When all was clear again, the man no longer held the lass. His ashen face was sorry, sick, and old. He notched his bow, and trembled as he drew the string to ear, and let it go. And Robin saw the woodman's arrow soar beyond his gaze. He's dying, Robin said. This final bowshot ends his days. Is it not so? The boy in his confusion asked the seer. And as he spoke, the mystic apparition disappeared. So Robin thought he saw the signs of future joy and grief, but knew not what they meant, nor if they merited belief. Thank you. The next chapter is chapter 4, Robin and the Rioters, and I'll probably get to it later tonight, or perhaps next week, depending on how things go. So, thank you so much.
Does this end like the other story ends, or does this have a twist? Like the other Robin Hood, is this different than the Robin Hood?
I don't know which one you're referring to. There's a lot
There's
of
like
versions.
a lot of them. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is this a unique version? Is this a
No,
okay. Traditional?
This is based on a novel by Paul Creswick, and
Okay.
I'm adapting his prose into poetry.
Okay, excellent. All right, yeah. So, chapter 4 coming soon. All right, so I'm glad you guys are still